Yeah. Welcome to being snowed in at Steve's place. We had a huge dump of snow. We got the plows in and cleared it. Then it snowed again. And our little car just can't make it up the hill. So we're going to get it plowed as soon as we can. And new tires on the truck. And we'll be more mobile. So I am camping in the yard tonight. I know it's not everybody's thing, so you can bail on this video if that's not what you want to see. But next week we'll be up to the usual stuff. Out traveling around, provided there's no restrictions. So I got the summer gazebo tent. I'm going to set it up right here. It's going to be pretty cold tonight, about minus 14 Celsius, which is around 7 degrees Fahrenheit. And like, this is a summer gazebo, you know. This is more in place at a beach in the summer than it is out in the backyard in this type of weather. So we'll set this up. I'll throw in the heater, and I'm going to see if it's possible to survive the night. Camp the one at ease with basically screens for walls with little wind panels. Let's see what happens. Let's get some heat in here. Mr. Buddy Heater. There we go. About 450,000 BTUs in this thing. Should do some toastiness. A long night ahead. When it's not used for a while, propane leaves the hose in the pilot line, so you got to kind of let it run for a little bit to get the propane back out there. And eventually she will want to burn, but that can't come soon enough. It's a little chilly. Good, she lit. So once this is going, I'll move the propane cylinder outside, because if it did get too hot, it would be very unlikely that this would get too hot in here to cause the tank to vent. But if it were to vent with an open flame here, the tent would Hindenburg in like a second. So we don't need that type of a problem up here. I'm sure beautiful wife wouldn't be happy to look out the window and see that. Go there, guy. There, safe. See? My favorite sleeping tool is a cot. Like that. Easy pop-out cot will get you through some slumbery situations, that's for sure. An awkward sitting device. And there. Close this and let the heat saturate this place. Things are going to be off the charts cozy, I'm sure of it. I sure hope so. With enough time, this buddy heater melts all the snow into like a perfect hexagon shape on the ground. But this is not exactly as warm as when I've used this in my ice fishing hunt. That ice fishing hunt, very similar design to this, except instead of screens, it was all like polyester stuff. So this, it's bearable, but you're well aware that it's cold. Like, I can still see my breath, but there's radiant heat I can feel on my legs and everything from this. So it's, you really are aware that it is, I'm going to say winter, even though that's not for another couple of months, month and a half. But cheers, everybody. It's time to crack step number 2, because step number 1 has been accomplished of getting some shelter. And it is such a good feeling once you get the heat going, you get the shelter set up, and I know it's going to be very cold tonight. It's well on the way there right now, but just having that big burden of worrying about getting things set up, just get it done first. Don't turn step 2 into step 1, because there was a bunch of memes about that this summer floating around online. Oh, yeah. Peaceful out here. So fundamentals, the same sleeping bag I used under the bridge, same sleeping pad I used under the bridge, both incredibly bright, loud in color. It doesn't matter here very much. And of course a Woods brand hammock underneath of it. This is an older one I've had for years. Still works just great. And that's, it should do the job for the night. It'll keep, I'll probably have to move a little closer to the heater, to be honest, because it's already feeling a little bit chilly. I'm throwing a few more layers of clothes, because that's number 1. But that's number 3. This is number 1, number 2. You know how it goes. Yeah, that's melted a little bit of snow around here, which means it's time to cook up a little meal. And we got nothing fancy at all today, because we're snowed in at home. I grabbed a small can of mini ravioli, and we'll dump that in the pan. We're going to try to make it more palatable, because being around home, I got a bunch of spices and stuff I can put into it, and hopefully turn this into people food. Well, I can smell it already. There we go. Probably a fine time to mention, I don't have any wild animals around here, like bears or anything that would cause me concern eating in a tent like this. More likely the food I eat will kill me sooner than any wild animals. There's a big plug of frozen sauce at the bottom. Oh, that makes all the sense in the world. Okay. That whole thing is dealt with. And I'll find my stove attachment. We'll get this cooking. I did not expect conditions to become that windy, which normally they don't out here. But just the way things go, it looks like it's going to tip it over again here in a second unless I do something drastic. But we'll get this canned stuff heating up. Some extra ingredients need to be added to make this more than just the bachelor meal that checks off all the boxes. We're going to make this a little bit more gourmet. A little balsamic vinegar. Can't go wrong with that. Probably a tablespoon worth. Give a little more acidity. And along the lines of acidity, let's squirt of lemon juice, small one. Yep. Because if you actually eat this stuff, it tastes like ketchup or tomato soup or something like that. Pepper in there. Go. We've got some beef bouillon concentrate, so it'll give it a broth sensationness to it. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. Yeah, that was a bit. For sure. Alright, now. Some crushed chili peppers in there. A pinch should do. Now, when they originally make this, they leave out the oregano for some reason, so here we are. Oregano in there. Okay, so fixed up so far. You can never go wrong with liquid smoke, right? This will probably dose it a little bit better if I do it this way. Yep, a little liquid smoke, some smokiness, and garlic. My spoon's over there somewhere, but we can probably put some garlic in there. Just free pouring it. There we go. Bit of garlic. And for later, I got finished her off with some freshly grated Parmesan. So I'm gonna stir this up. It's smelling less disgusting already. That's great news. You know, that actually worked. I did not really expect it to taste that good. I thought we're going to toast up a little sourdough on the Mr. Buddy here. And there is a whole group dedicated to cooking and rigging these Mr. Buddy heaters up to cooking. I don't know what it is, but I've got a few comments about it. I'm going to toast up a little bread. Actual Parmesan cheese. Yeah, this is going to be a decent one, I think. Not too shabby. Sophisticated Chef Boyardee. Yeah. For what it is, 5 thumbs up. That's all I can say. The only downside is these raviolis are a little bit fragile. They break apart. However, much better than I remember as a child. About time to hunker down pretty soon here. I kind of realized the only way to really survive this is to bring the cot closer to this guy here. The heater. This is a completely different animal than the ice fishing shack. That thing, I could be a lot colder than this, and this guy would really heat the whole thing up quite nicely. I would never be afraid for my life, but any colder than this, I really wouldn't try it with this setup. Too many air gaps, and even these temp flaps on the outside, they cover the outside, but they don't do a very good job of it. So this is just an experiment, I guess, which is going to be hopefully cozy. It was already borderline delicious, so that's a great thing. And I have to give a big shout out to all the people that have been donating to the cause, crowdfunding my midlife crisis, because I don't do corporate sponsorships. So everybody that's donated, thank you very much, and we're gonna keep on going for you guys. That's just what we do around here. So I got my big orange yellow caterpillar that's crawling there. Hunker down right away. It is about minus 14 outside right now. In here, I don't have my thermometer. Depending on where you are, it's probably around 32 Fahrenheit up towards the top. Down here, we're talking, it's probably minus 5 Celsius. I'm crumbling with my conversions. That'd be in the 20s Fahrenheit somewhere. So it's what it is for now. I'm gonna crawl into here. Thanks for watching along so far, and if I make it through the night without this thing blowing away, I should be okay. But wind usually isn't a problem around here. On a still night, I was not expecting the camera to tip over and everything to move around here. It's just unusual. I usually find just throwing a little weight on each corner on the edge, logs or rock or something, does the job. Cursed zippers. Just getting the base feeling of how cold I'm going to be. I'm waiting for the sleeping bag to do its job. Might be a cold one. Ooh, yeah. There's no good option. I can either point the heater right at my face or right at my feet. Right now, my feet feel like they're going to need the help, so I'll just leave it right there. I'll see you guys in the morning.
that was doable. This is not the appropriate choice of structure for cold weather camping. The screen tent in minus 14, 15 Celsius conditions. It's pushing the boundaries of what this thing is capable of. But with the buddy heater, it was a pretty good sleep. I'd give it 1.5 thumbs up. Maybe 1 thumb up. I find I need a thicker foamy because I'm a side sleeper. And on a thin foamy, I just have to keep flipping over side to side all night. You probably will be able to see that in the time lapse. So that's the issue there. If I had a thicker foam mattress, oh, it would have been beautiful. It would be a 2 thumbs up sleep for sure. Overall, yeah, it can be done in a pinch, but there's better tents for this. So that's what we're gonna do next time. And I have a big thank you to everybody because we're at 400. We're over 400,000 subscribers now. So I can't thank everybody enough for subscribing. What I want to do is something special. We're actually packing up. Today's upload day, and if we can get up the driveway, we're going to probably ask a friend to come and tow us up the hill so we can get into town. And I've got a vehicle rented until we can get ours fixed and new wheels on the truck, etc. So we're going to be heading into town right away so I can go sit under a cell tower and upload this, as well as to get our hands on a 4-wheel rental vehicle to get up and down the driveway. What I want to hear is for a 400,000 subscriber special, what do you guys want to see? Because special is going to be one above and beyond the regular weekly one that I try to get up on Thursdays. So if you got any suggestions or comments of what you'd like to see for a 400,000 special, please let me know. And please subscribe, like, or comment, of course, if you can tolerate this type of camping, because it's always fun to read the comments, try to get back to as many as I can. It's going to be a long, cold winter of trying to get through comments. If I haven't gotten back to you, please don't take offense. But I literally have about 20,000 emails in my inbox right now. And I'm hacking away at them bit by bit, day by day, because I don't have a secretary or like staff on hand or anything like that. It's literally like me with a laptop trying to manage all this, which is another reason I don't get involved with the corporate sponsorship dealies, because that's just way too much to have to deal with. So it's that's the way the channel's going for now. Thank you guys for coming along. It's always a blast, and I can't wait to hear what you're going to suggest for the 400,000. Once I get them all like in the top suggested ones, I'll actually put that to a vote or something so we can see what we're going to do. But lots of videos coming up. Once we get this vehicle, we're probably going to be heading down the road, depending on travel restrictions, into BC, because there's a great place there we love to call second home almost, and we're going to be filming some videos up there. So it's going to be some fun times coming up soon here. And I stepped back, slowly stepping back from the furnace repair work to get into more content and dealing with this channel. So it's hopefully things will be a little more stable on this end, and hopefully I'll be able to go back to fixing furnaces when the bottom falls out of YouTube here. So cheers, guys, and we'll see you real soon. Thanks.
There's a reason Chevy is called the heartbeat of America. It's in the pulse of those who never stop getting the job done or the party started. This summer, Chevy drives America. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Do you mind? Daddy.
Protection you expect, now with softness you didn't. New Huggy Snug and Dry.
Hey, welcome to Camping with Steve. We're not snowed in anymore. We rented this little car here to putt around in until we get ours fixed. And we got a major snowfall warning coming in tonight, like imminent or occurring as we speak. So back of the rental car. I got set up with a little bunk here, and just gonna try camping out in the car for the night in a snowstorm. So I gotta find a spot to park, and I'll go over a few things because I have actually lived in a car before for about a month or so, and I'll just touch on a few things because nobody plans to live in a car, but if you ever do find yourself in a car, it's nice to know a few things in advance. So let's get started. For various reasons, people can find themselves sleeping in a car. That doesn't necessarily mean you've been evicted or you're homeless or something like that. It could be as simple as a breakdown, or maybe the hotels are all booked up on your journey. So you want to be pretty close to a 24-hour gas station because gas stations are an excellent source of bathrooms. And you don't want to be carrying antifreeze jugs with you for those emergency calls. You want to be generally somewhere pretty close to services. The snow is beginning, so next stop after we fuel up here is going to be to find our spot. And after that, I'm going to secure some food. I'm not going to cook in this car because that's a whole other world of problems. It takes special skill to do properly. But there's an abundance of restaurants all over the place. Walmarts used to be a good option for a quick overnighter. They've seemed less friendly over the years. Some people have probably abused the privilege of parking there overnight, turned it into a full-on vacation with their lawn chairs, etc. But there's other options that are just as great. Not too nice of a neighborhood, not too bad of a neighborhood. You need that Goldilocks zone for sure, because you're likely to get into trouble in both the extreme locations. If you're somewhat close to an apartment building where there could be random vehicles, that's a good thing too, because a lot of people know the vehicles in their neighborhood, and they keep an eye out for each other, obviously. And a strange car would arouse some severe suspicion of somebody sleeping in it overnight. So we're in search of just that neighborhood, and I know of a spot that should be there. This looks like a pretty good spot. There is no sidewalk along this side here. There is an apartment building over there. So it's not unusual, I guess, for a vehicle to be parked here. Maybe they're visiting a friend or loved one at the apartment building. It's your typical blue-collar, working-class neighborhood. So I don't think there should be too much of a problem. Now, what might seem like a downfall is that there's a heavy snowfall warning, but that just means my windows will be all covered in snow and nobody is going to be able to see in. When I'd moved up to the coast, I lived in my car years ago in my 20s for the first month until I got my RV. And that was great when it rained or something like that, because the windows would get coated in this pebbly coating of water. And it was really hard for anybody to see in. It was a little bit more tricky to tell if there was condensation on the window, which there will be in cold temperatures. So I will be cracking the windows just enough to get some ventilation, to let some moisture out, and not big enough to let the snow in, hopefully. So we're going to go around the block, make sure there's nothing major happening here that would be a problem, like party somewhere or something like that. And I think we're in the zone for a good camping spot. Yeah, I don't see any major raging keggers in the neighborhood. I don't see anybody staring out their blinds with binoculars looking for trouble. I think this is going to be a great spot to set up camp for the night. I'm just going to secure some food before it snows too badly, and then once I get parked, I'll pretty much stay there so that there's no tracks coming out of my car, and we should be a-okay for a stealthy sleep in the car.
I swore to myself years ago that I'd never own another vehicle that I couldn't live in if push came to shove. So something along these lines is really versatile and not too bad on gas as well. Food is ordered. And according to this app, that means 15 minutes from now, I'll be eating a hot, steaming, delicious pizza. So the obvious question is, why am I sleeping in a Hyundai Santa Fe? To be honest, I get a kick out of it. There's a little bit of a challenge. It's cozy, I think, and it takes me back to my mid-20s. I'd spent a month living in a Pontiac G6, which is nowhere near as good of a setup as this. But the first few days were rough. After that, it was a walk in the park. I could pull in, sleep with all the noise around me. It would rain a little bit to cover up the windows so people couldn't see in too easily. But this has got some window tins, and I think as long as nobody's walking by really close, I shouldn't have too much of a problem. So that's the story about that. And I did live in there a month and then got my RV. Then I lived in the RV for another 3 years or so before rejoining society and becoming a quote-unquote productive member of society. So let's go grab that food, and as soon as this snow starts to really fall a little heavier, we are going to commence the hunkering down. One of my favorite treats is a white box pizza. Oh, yes. White box for one of these small little locally owned things that don't really have a big enough chain to print their own boxes. I just call them a white box pizza. But I'm famished. So I'm going to dig into this deluxe-y looking little pizza here. Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That steams up the windows pretty good. But, yeah, I'm going to devour some of this. And then, I still don't see our snow yet. That's kind of a crucial ingredient in being stealthy because I don't have anything else to go over the windows. I'm going to be relying on snow insulation completely. Oh, there's a bunny. This place is crawling open. Hey, our snow is falling. That's building up in the dash right now. Nature's camouflage will cover this all, and it'll be probably so good I can even use a little bit of light back here once we get enough snow on the windows. I've got the heater going a little bit to try and warm it up here. It's on the floor setting, so it shouldn't melt off too much on the windows. And it's going to be a little chilly tonight, probably minus 14 degrees Celsius, which in Fahrenheit, I'll have to do that conversion. But it'll be all right once I'm in that sleeping bag. It's a little colder than I normally like to camp out in, but we got a thermometer in here, so we're going to see how much my body heat actually warms up the vehicle. I'm going to crack my windows here just a little bit. By ventilation, and that way in the morning it's not a huge deal to try and thaw this all out, because when you're camping in really cold weather in a vehicle, it will be solid ice on the inside of the windows just from exhaling all night. So I'm going to turn off these lights and crawl in the back. Okay, let's get back here. All right, this will be good. I'm gonna just shut off these lights here and give you an update in a second here when we get a little more snow on the windows. So we got a nice bit of snow built up on the window. I'm just tucked right in here. The temperature I'm reading in here right now is like 16 degrees Celsius. Can't even see my breath. That's really good considering outside it's around minus 14 Celsius now, minus 13, 14, somewhere in that range. So I'm anticipating it will get colder in here, so I've got my delicious step 2 root beer in the sleeping bag, along with a bottle of water for when I wake up in the morning and I'm thirsty from sleeping in a car all night. So that's what I got right now. I have to give a big shout out to people who are sponsoring these adventures. So thank you all for your generous donations. And again, certainly don't feel obligated to. I appreciate those who do, but there are people actually living in cars right now. So if if you donate to Habitat for Humanity or a food bank or something like that, just shoot me an email. You can find the email on campingwithsteve.com, and get in touch with me that way, and I'll give you a shout out just for donating to a good cause. That's all we really need in this world right now, is to make things a bit easier, because I'm in the car by choice. A lot of people aren't. So that being said, I'm gonna turn in. Hopefully it's gonna be a quiet, uneventful, normal night of sleeping in the car without any surprises. But as always, I have car keys with me right beside me, and you always got to know where they are, because in a vehicle, if somebody starts rattling one of the handles or, God forbid, smashes a window out, I want to be able to hit that alarm pretty quick, and then hopefully that'll spook them off. Or I suppose somebody yelling from within the car would probably surprise them as well. So that is kind of the line of defense if there is anything wrong. With the vehicles you choose, if you're camping in them, the junkier they look, the more problems you're going to have. I've been living in vehicles for not for a while now, but I had enough experience in it. If I drove past, I could easily tell if somebody was sleeping in the vehicle. Most people would not notice; they just drive past. But as soon as I see the condensation on the window, if I see they have the windows covered up a certain way, or generally the junkiness of a vehicle, things tied onto the side of it, extra storage compartments and stuff, you know right away. So try to keep the vehicles clean, as stock as possible. Don't dress it out with limo tint on all the front windows and everything. That's just got to try and keep it as normal looking a vehicle as possible. But this old timer can ramble on sometimes, so I'm going to turn off the light. We'll see you guys in the morning, and thanks for watching. Now you're camping with Steve, kind of. Or sleeping in a car with Steve. Cheers. Good morning. Nothing soothes the soul more than sleeping in a nest of blankets in the back of an SUV. Been a little bit chilly last night. I could say that. I was actually sleeping right on my thermometer, so I don't have an actual. Oh, hey, I can see the minimum temperature in here. Last night was 0 degrees. So right at freezing, 0.5 degrees Celsius. And the maximum temperature from when I was sleeping in the thing was probably 29 degrees. So it was nice and toasty under the sleeping bag, that's for sure. I don't know if we got quite the amount of snow that I was expecting that we'd get. And it could still be snowing for all I know, I'm not sure. But I haven't checked yet if they've still got the snow warning, snowfall warning on. But the amount of condensation even on the windows here, like there is some for sure. But I've slept in a vehicle before. next to the vehicle, get the thawing process going. I'm going to get out of here because I have no idea what's up with the car. So, I'll start this up, get the heat going. Then I'll have to defrost all the windows in here before I can really go anywhere. But it's not unusual. If a vehicle starts out here, a lot of people got those remote car starters, right? Like, so you could just be warming it up. Oh, oh, fluffy stuff. Look at this. My sleeping bag is disintegrating. I think it might be time to check out sleeping bag situations. But yeah, you can see all this little bits of condensation in here. But yeah, let's get this started and then we'll on some grub. Aha. Still some condensation to come off, but I haven't even turned the fan on full blast yet. Checked out the snow situation. Yeah, we actually got not a whole pile of snow. They were calling for almost 6 inches, 10 to 15 centimeters worth. So, oh well, that could be a blessing in disguise because at home we finally got our driveway passable. So, yeah, I'll be out here in no time. Be defrosted, and it'll be a piece of cake.
Oh, hi. Could I get a large coffee with 2 cream and 1 sugar? And could I also get an everything bagel with cream cheese? A plain, please. Yes, thank you. Not big. That's everything, thanks. You too, thank you very much. Hi. Thank you. Thanks. When you park for the night, if you're sleeping in your car, park as late as possible. Don't pull up at 6 p.m. and then hang out there watching movies and cooking dinner or eating food. You can do that somewhere else where you're actually going to sleep for the night. You just lie right in at 10 or 11 whenever you go to sleep. Peek around, make sure nobody saw you, crawl into the back, and then you get out as early as you can in the morning. No sense to linger around and sleep in and read the news or whatever. Like, get out of there, because the less time you're spending there, the better. And some people do seem to think that that sleeping in your car is a very serious crime. I think in some states it is a little bit more serious than here. I think if there was a complaint to the police, they would probably knock on the door, ask you what you're doing. They may tell you to move somewhere else if they're not comfortable with where you're parked. But I don't think that they'd give you a ticket or anything like that. I don't think it is possible here. But they certainly could harass you, and that's just not pleasant to deal with at 2 or 3 in the morning when it's freezing in your car, etc. Like, yeah. So it's Tim Hortons everything bagel. I guess that means everything but cheese. I just see sesame seeds and poppy seeds on this everything bagel. One side's got cream cheese. Does not look toasted at all. This isn't toasted. Huh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at that video and see if I double check I actually said to get it toasted.
So thanks for watching. I'm gonna have my breakfast here, and we're gonna upload this as soon as I can find a good cell tower to park under. I'm gonna test my upload speeds here, because unfortunately, not only do we not have fiber optic internet, we don't have cable internet, we don't have DSL internet. We've got a little Wi-Fi hub, or a little LTE hub at home, and that just uploads at 1 megabit per second. So my files are usually like 10, 13 gigs in that area for a 4K file. So it's really tricky to try and get that done from home unless I, spend the whole day uploading. My cellular data, they give me 50 gigs a month. So 4 videos a month, they can be about 12 and a half gigs each, as long as they don't use any other data. So that's what we'll do. We will use up 12 and a half of my gigs today somewhere. Yeah, so thanks for watching. If you can tolerate this stuff, or if you're mildly curious, you can please consider subscribing. There's also, of course, Hunker Down merch. There's a few different designs. And as soon as I get the time, I'll be putting up another design or two. And that's a perfect gift for someone who loves my channel. Or if somebody hates my channel, that would be a hilarious, ironic gift if you got that from them. So there's those options. But yeah, other than that, we will see you guys next week. And now you've been camping with Steve, kind of, in the back of the car. Cheers, guys.
There's a reason Chevy is called the heartbeat of America. It's in the pulse of those who never stop getting the job done, or the party started. This summer, Chevy drives America. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Lowe's knows it's important to make space for what matters. That's why we offer great deals on innovative appliances from LG, with sleek designs perfect for maximizing any space, and a premium built-in look that fits any kitchen. Shop Labor Day deals at Lowe's. We help, you save.
Well, hey everyone, welcome to Camping with Steve. Drove up to the mountains for a change of scenery, because it's a lot cooler to sleep in your car when you're not just on the side of the road in the city somewhere. This looks a lot better than the city did. Let's go. Woods. There's a fair bit of wildlife around here. So far, we've seen some good stuff. I think the bears should be pretty much hunkered down for the year, so we shouldn't have any problems with bears. Getting out to this logging road, there's no active log hauling in progress right now, so we should be pretty safe. You see an awful lot more evidence if there was logging trucks up and down this road. So I'm still going to be careful, but it's my favorite road in the world. Absolutely stunning. This truly is a winter wonderland. We are heading up into the subalpine here, so we're going to probably see a little more snow than what we have here. This is pretty much all we got, just a couple inches, but I'm expecting that will get a little bit deeper the further in elevation we go up this mountain road. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully this little car makes it. It's been a surprisingly good rental car so far, so I'm very pleased with that. Snow is certainly getting deeper, I can say that.
Absolutely majestic. Alright. This is our usual camping spot in the summer. And it sure looks a lot different in the winter. I'm really glad the vehicle can make this trail right now. Any more snow and I really wouldn't want to try this. But let's see. Oh, awesome. The tripod setup is still there. Sweet. This is probably gonna be a spot for home for the night. Pull in here and not get stuck.
So yeah, the car pulled in here no problem. The snow is it's really sticky and squishes down good. So that's pretty good for driving on it. It's not slushy yet. So I gotta find some firewood so we can have a nice big raging fire up this mountain back road. And we'll be tailgate camping in the back of this rental SUV tonight. And it's easy, you just pop the top, throw a tarp over it, and call it a shelter. That's my type of camping. So let's find some firewood. On these old logging roads, there's tons of wood to be scavenged fairly easily in the summer. There are old slash piles from old cuts and stuff that you can normally get all the firewood you need. I didn't anticipate it would be that much trickier in the winter, but the weather outside is frightful. So I'm gonna do a little tradesies, a little switcheroo. I have some beer, and I have a friend down the road who lives close to town, and he has a ton of firewood. So we're gonna do the old swap here, and that'll make things easier for a nice cozy night. We successfully stored some wood. This will make things a lot nicer tonight. It's only about 3:30, and we're losing daylight power really quickly. It's that time of year where basically by 4 p.m. it's dark. So I'll throw the tarp on here. We'll drag out what we don't need in the back of the car for the night, like propane and stuff, and we should be ready to the business of camping ASAP. It looks like a fine way to spend the night, just like that. With this type of a setup, but don't run the engine. That would be a disaster. Now that we've slapped together the worst shelter that's ever existed, it's time to crack open a delicious Frosty, step number 2 for the day. All those other steps. we'll just consider that step one. So, yeah, step two time, guys. Crack yours at home. Sure is peaceful out here. Where I'm camping here is what's called Crown Land in Canada. So that's public land, really. The Queen doesn't own it. All the citizens do, and we're allowed to come out and enjoy it for recreation purposes, like camping. There are certain restrictions, like 2 weeks maximum in one spot, I believe, something like that. So it's a great resource. In the United States, there's something similar called the Bureau of Land Management. So that manages all the public land. And there's similar arrangements where you can go out and camp. Although it is public land, these trees are not public trees, so you can't just go taking them down, because this is somebody's woodlot, so they own the timber rights on this little section of land. I am allowed to be here, but certainly don't want to be taking down any of these majestic pines. This is the setup we got back here. Now, it's not too cold right now. It's probably around 32 Fahrenheit, 0 Celsius. But there's a couple of chairs, as you can see. I would be able to put this tarp all the way down if it was getting really cold. But it is actually quite nice, good temperature here. In the back there, there's a big mess of blankets and a foamy, and that'll be keeping me warm tonight, hopefully. So that's all there is to it. This is a great little setup, provided you don't run the engine. That's number one. And I've got Mr. Buddy heater and the propane cylinder there. So if it were to get super cold, I could turn that on. It's always a wise idea, if you don't have a bunch of huge air gaps, the way I do here, is to always have a carbon monoxide alarm with you. Those Mr. Buddy heaters, they have a low oxygen shutoff. So if it were to consume all the oxygen in the room, it would turn off long before that happened. So they're pretty safe, but yeah, keep the propane cylinders outside the building if you're running these things. And I don't know if this classifies as a building, but yeah, it's pretty sweet out here. There's not a soul around. I'm not even seeing any like animal tracks really. A couple little bunny tracks, and that's about it. But yeah, I like this setup. I got to do this more. It's super convenient. If you're ever wanting to try winter camping, this is the setup to dip your toe in the water with. Because if you don't like it, you can just close the door and drive back to your warm, cozy house and loving family. So let's keep drinking some beer and walk around while we still get a little bit more daylight there. So we came in on this road. We pulled into this awesome spot, one of my favorites. And down this road further, there's a lot more stuff to see. But I'm not going to push my luck with a rental car on an unmaintained road that I'm sure is not even on the map. So we don't want problems. I can see a set of tracks. Somebody drove down there. Would have been before yesterday when we got a big snowfall. And there's really good hunting area back there. It's a quite popular spot. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some people coming by. My friend who I got firewood from might stop by, but I don't know how likely that would be. He enjoyed some beers yesterday, and he is a little sleepy now. So, let's get down to the business of getting a fire assembled. It's going to be just great. This thing scares me all the time. I should fill that in. I actually dug that hole last summer. We were using that for a water reservoir. We put a tarp in there and filled it up with water so we'd have water for dishes or whatever we needed. And at first I said, tell me that's not a bear's hibernaculum. But it isn't. It's just a hole I dug that I scare myself with. That'll probably trip in one day if I don't fill it in. So, humongous fire ring. That will be a little overkill for the size of the fire we're going to build. I'm going to grab that much wood because I don't want to use the privilege of trading firewood for beer. All right, it's fire time. in order to make things extra classy and festive for Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving, we had ours in October in Canada. I am using a Kentucky Fried Chicken scented log. Good thing the bears are slumbering right now. It's a formidable smell, that's for sure. And these bears, yeah, they don't mess around. They can smell real good. They can probably smell what I'm thinking right now. And let's see. Our log made from 100% recycled wax, cardboard, not actually fried chicken. I like the disclaimer. Okay. Oh boy. Holy. Wow. They don't they don't hold back on the 11 herbs and spices. Yeah. Yikes. This almost smells pharmaceutical. Okay. Loosen the wrapper and right there. Right there. Just follow the directions. Yeah, I guess we'll see if this burns. Wow, what age we live in. Well, I can smell it already. It's really getting a lot stronger smell. Fire log. No mercy. Why did I buy 2 of these fire logs? What I like about these pressed wax log things, they burn for like hours. So if you're starting a fire, and you're bringing wood already, may as well bring another log along to make the lighting process easier. You don't have to mess around with kindling and all that bushcraft and stuff, unless you really want to. Hey, that's good. The smell of the wood is overpowering the fried chicken aroma. Good. Fire is going quite nicely. Absolute winter wonderland all around us. It's quite beautiful, majestic, peaceful. The list goes on. And the back of the SUV here that we've got set up is pretty cozy on the inside. We got a bunk set up here that will be proving to be comfortable, I'm sure. A couple of pots to cook up some Thanksgiving festivities around here. You know, the odd flashlights and whatnot hanging down. I did start up the Mr. Buddy heater, and there's a huge air gap on the bottom here, which is good for carbon monoxide. But if I were to redo this, I could make it a lot closer to the ground. But it was just kind of a fluke of the tarp I had at the time. We got a whole chair there full of Thanksgiving goodies I'm going to have to cook up tonight. So that should prove to be extremely delicious. And there's my step 2. Even better. Yeah, this is quite the setup. I'm going to probably do this in the future. I see no problems with this unless it's severe bear territory time and
you don't want to cause any problems there. But this is actually extremely sweet as far as I'm concerned. And it gives a lot more room on the back of the SUV. So next stop is going to be probably to cook up some food. The snow seems to be falling outside. I can hear it on the tarp. And we're going to make a little Thanksgiving style meal in the back of the SUV. I'm just cooking on the Mr. Buddy heater down here. That kind of should probably do okay. I'm going to cook up a little bit of stuffing. Then I'm going to throw in a whole Thanksgiving meal into one pot. And that should do just fine. What could go wrong with...
The usual?
I'm in the mood for something special.
Oh, I got you. A Bailey's oat milk latte.
New Bailey's made with oat milk. More than a little treat.
Precariously balancing a pot of boiling water on a propane appliance. Right? So we'll get this all boiled up. Throw in a helping of rich creamery butter. And, I'll make the stuffing. And then I've got a bunch of turkey from the deli. This is actually, I've been snacking on this a little bit. It's really good. Roast garlic and pepper turkey breast. So, look at that. That is actually, oh, thank goodness the bears are asleep right now, because they would be ripping through this tarp in no time to come join me for dinner. So that should do the job nicely here. And we got gravy and everything we're going to throw in there. And a can of, I found niblets were the only thing available at the first grocery store. But I did get my grubby little hands on some actual peaches and cream. So that's what we're going to use. And I'm severely excited to chow down and crawl into this back of an SUV. Mm-hmm. So the progress continues. We've got corn and stovetop stuffing, and throw in a bunch of turkey, and we'll just let it heat up there, and then we'll dump in a whole helping of gravy, and I think we're off to a good Thanksgiving. Can't have enough gravy, you like this. So in goes the gravy to get everything nice and coated. Throw a lid on there, and we'll see what happens. Getting a little more ready to hunker down any moment now, after I finish delicious Thanksgiving in a pot. This is not for those people that don't like the different foods touching each other on the plate. This is absolutely delicious. It's got everything in there other than potatoes, I guess. And I didn't want to open up the whole can of cranberries. I had that planned. But I think this is quite enough for me. I'm probably gonna have leftovers. What to say? Save some room for a little company after that. So I have to give a major shout out to the people who have gone above and beyond and donated charities and volunteered and everything else like that. I think I got the best subs in the world. Everybody is just phenomenal. The amount of people that have reached out, I have to let everybody know, you guys are making a difference. Thank you so much, guys, for all that. And then the folks that have donated so that I can enjoy step 2 and rent a car to go into these back road adventures. It's so hard to sit here and talk when I just want to consume this delicious meal. But thank you all. And it's starting to snow out here. I really hope I'm not stuck here tomorrow. I'm gonna poke my head out the door, and I'm gonna check on the snow after I'm done devouring my Thanksgiving dinner. And I'm thankful for all you guys. Thank you for watching along. I'm very thankful for that. And I know, it's time to be thankful for what we can be thankful for. So, cheers, everybody. Ooh. The structure from the inside looks pretty good for the night. Of course, about time to go to bed. So here I am in my picture-perfect piece of paradise, getting ready to sleep for the night with the bear spray beside me just in case. But they should be pretty well done for the year. So that's a relief. Anyway, we'll see you guys bright and early. Good morning. It really does not get better than that. This is an awesome setup. It was like I was sleeping indoors. It was that warm. I had the buddy heater on low, and there's not even much condensation inside here on the windows. So that was an awesome success. Time to get up and start the day. I would camp like this any day of the week. This is probably my new favorite setup out of anything I've done. For stealthiness, I would give it 0% because it's just not a stealthy setup. But as far as coziness, that's got to be up at like 80%. Really, I could stretch out just fine in this. I'm 5'11", so if you were much taller than 6 feet, you may not want the Santa Fe. But sleeping diagonally, you could probably stretch out quite comfortably. The seats actually, they go fairly far flat when you flip them back. Some of them, they're kind of at an angle, so you're sitting up all night. But yeah, that was awesome. I'm just getting packed up. We could hit these logging roads. I'm curious to see if there's any fresh prints or tracks out here that we can try to identify some type of wildlife other than the few that we saw at the very beginning. Tarps. They come the size of an envelope, and then when you roll them back up, they're the size of a raft. So, awesome. I've looked down this road. It's normally a good spot to see some wildlife, or at least some evidence of it, and I saw some tracks. But it turns out there are human tracks, which are not that interesting. So I'll keep poking around here. So I'm going to turn around because I think I'm going to get stuck if I go any further than this. It really is a sleepy forest up in these higher elevations. There's not a whole lot. I did see a bunch more stuff down at the lower elevations at the start of the logging road. And then I get up here and it's pretty quiet until now. Now these prints, and they're fairly big. I'll give you a comparison there. I don't know exactly what they are. It's not really all that fresh, but it looks like it could be a lynx or a big cat like that. If you know tracks, let me know what you think that might be. That's about all I've seen so far. So I'm gonna zip down the hill. And unless I see anything amazingly interesting on the way down, I'll call this the video for the week. And we're out here filming a couple more right away. So that's going to be awesome. There's going to be good times coming up. We're going to hit a couple other really cool spots that I know of. And we're going to get that 400,000 special filmed out here as well. So thanks, everybody. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't and you'd like to, that's free and it's good to do and it makes you feel good. So until next time, you're camping with Steve.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
One wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Help keep your kids going with Orgain Kids Nutritional Shakes. Real organic nutrition with vitamins, minerals, and a fruit and veggie blend. Plus, 25% less sugar and a taste kids love. Fuel your kids' next adventure with Orgain.
Hello, my stealthy friends. Beautiful wife has just dropped me off in an industrial area with a pretty sweet park here. So I'm going to crawl into here, get set up for the night for a good old-fashioned stealther. Now this, I'll have to do some bushwhacking. It's a pretty dense forest, or a little park here. That's okay. I had to up my attire from the ragged flannel because I can't be looking like some ragamuffin if I'm actually trying to do some stealth camping. I have to look like an upstanding, normal person, not stealth camping. Oh, here we are. This is good. Get a little further in here and get things set up. This looks like an awfully good spot, nice and far from the road, and there's a little berm there as well, so that stops people from looking directly into the woods at a low level. I've got my 2 trees here I can tie a hammock onto, which will be just perfect. Quick look for widowmakers. I don't think there's anything that should fall down and squish me in the night. No, that one's still alive. Good. This will be home for the night. I'll trample down a few of these thorn bushes here. They're actually wild roses. You can see the rose hips on them from last year. Great. Anyhow, yeah, we'll get that set up. And there's probably a couple more hours of people working in this industrial park here. So I'm gonna lay low and not turn on any lights around twilight, that type of thing, because that's when people are really gonna be coming and going. Let's get started. One of the big downsides with winter stealth is the amount of stuff you actually have to carry if you're gonna stay warm. Last night was around about minus 20 Celsius. So those are serious temperatures. Today is a little warmer. And we get this hammock set up. It's a 4-season Hennessy hammock. So we'll see if that means for Canadian seasons or for exactly what. It's got a little insulated layer in it. So that'll be good. I hope. Perfect. awesome. This is just about perfect for a little camping thing as soon as I clear more of these thorn bushes here. These hammocks do come with integrated flies on them. I am just using my white polytarp, or white-ish polytarp, because that should blend in a lot better than this military green. I'll string that over top, and that will provide some trapping for the heat, because I'm going to run a little propane thing. It'll also stop anybody from that road from just seeing me walk around all willy-nilly. Now I got the bulk of it set up. I'm going to tweak it a little bit more, but I made a lot of movement, and I just want to sit still for a second. There's a transport truck that pulled up right beside us, and he could be waiting there for a little bit to unload or pick up a load from one of the dogs here. So keep an eye on him. But setting everything up depleted a lot of essential nutrients. So I need to recharge with a little vitamin beer. That is not a sound heard in nature, beer cracking. So you always have to muffle that a little bit. Better yet, bring rum or something. Now, this is a stealth spot. A cube van pulled up about 20 minutes ago, and it's been sitting there right in clear line of sight. I'm just trying to move around as slowly as possible, but I really have to get this set up before it gets too dark, and then I need the flashlight. So I'm putting on as few strings as I need to get this set up, which is a pretty good thing to do when you're stealthing, because you don't know when you'll have to take it down really quickly, which I did on Wednesday. That's where I was on Thursday, if anybody didn't see the memo. I had everything ready to go. I was setting her up, and a bunch of kids started playing right beside my urban stealth setup. I didn't think they still did that, but they were throwing snowballs and everything. A whole gaggle of kids, must have been 6 or 7 of them. So that was just quite the thing. And I got out of there real quick, because people don't take kindly to stealth camping in general. And if they don't know I'm stealth camping, I'm just some creepy old guy in the woods with a camera. So I really got out of there super quick. I think he's left. Oh, awesome. Okay, time to go. I'm going to use this moment of privacy here to get everything fully set up. Camping gear never seems to come in colors that occur in nature. Everything I have is bright yellow, blue, you name it. So it'd be good to be able to sit down in here, away from the prying eyes of those do-gooders trying to flush me out of the woods. to me, that looks fairly stealthy. Back out here a little bit. And a lot stealthier than me tripping over branches. Oh yeah. By the time I get back out to the main road, you shouldn't be able to see anything at all. Nothing at all. Just hide those bags out of the way. And I think it's smooth sailing. Oh yeah, a lot less detectable right now. The sun is just starting to set, and staying still gets you a little cold. Of course, fire is not healthy at all unless it's a stealth Dakota fire hole. But we're using propane. Got this little guy. Screws right onto a 1 pound cylinder, and little C3H8 will warm things up. Warm things up beautifully, in my opinion. There we go. Fantastic. Had to bring this along because although it's a 4-season hammock, anytime I've heard 4 season, it means 1 season. Anytime I've heard 3 season, it means 1 season. Now, if I've heard 1 season, never buy it. If your sleeping bag's rated for -30, it isn't. So that's my word of advice there. Be a little prepared heat-wise, and I can also cook on this, which I plan to do. That make less gear in the bags, multi-purpose tool. I love it. Let the grand tour begin here. It's really not advisable to use the same trail in and out if you're leaving tracks in the snow, but I will see what we do here. Here, doesn't stick up too badly at all. And this is the and continue out, and we'll see exactly what it does or does not look like on the road. It's my favorite part. Let's see. Oh, I think that's going to be great. Probably 100 feet into the woods, taking a little bit of a different trail up here this time. And perfect. Okay. So there are some other footprints that aren't mine. So I think those are. No, they're not. Those are somebody else's. Okay. So from here, there's a slight. If you were really looking, you could probably see. And out here, the main area, right in front of a no parking zone. So that's okay. There's no parking this side of the sun, which is okay. I can kind of see it. We got these beautiful rooms. Very rare to see people that have a good spot like this. The city doesn't seem to want people camping in the public parks, but yeah, I think that'll be quite good. There's a gas station just up the road, a couple of blocks, in case I need anything, or if there's an emergency, bathroom-wise. So, yeah, once these street lights go on, that'll actually make it a little bit harder to see into the woods. So, excellent. No, it's definitely not invisible. So I'll have to be out of here relatively early in the morning. I've stayed in less stealthy spots than this, I can say that. I'm completely surrounded by industrial stuff as far as you can see. Everybody seems to have gone home because it's past 5 now. And this is the perfect spot, in my opinion. If I were living rough and I was unemployed, I'd be right here because you're so close to places to hand out resumes. Gas station right up the road. Yeah, this is perfect home. Clearly something is going on close by. The police helicopter flew over, as well as a bunch of sirens. I don't even want to turn on a flashlight right now until everything calms down a little bit around here. All the law enforcement activity has stopped here, so I'm going to do the true torture test. Flashlight on full power. And put this into the tent here. This is bright. And I gotta see. Well, it looks pretty illuminated to me. And yeah, that's pretty obvious, I think. That's not good. Let's move out to the road. Coast is clear. And, okay, if somebody was driving by, yeah, I didn't see that for sure. It was just raining outside, and that's strange because yesterday it was about minus 20 degrees Celsius out here, and now it's warming up, which I'm very thankful for. But considering the light draws so much attention from here, I've taken a small flashlight and I've wrapped a single-use plastic bag around it, which makes it a multiple-use plastic bag. That should draw less attention from outside there. I'll see if I can hang this up there somewhere. Oh, yeah, that should probably work. And then we can see exactly what we're doing here. I've got the propane heater here, which has been running probably since 4 or 5 o'clock. I got here about 2:30 in the afternoon, and then I put it on right away because it was super cold. Warming up a little bit here, which is fantastic. But I've got another propane cylinder ready to go. I have a flashlight stuck to it, magnetical. I think my propane cylinder is on its last legs. That was a good light for the first little cylinder. But we've got a spare. I just got off of a live stream for the Steve Wallace Step 2 channel. And that is where I put all the stuff that doesn't fit the full weekly thing with advance warning and all that. So I was very pleased to see everybody on there. That was very, very cool. And it kind of makes me feel less alone when I'm camping. Because usually I'll sit on the phone in between shots and have chats with crazy neighbor and beautiful wife and other people. But it's so nice to chat with a bunch of people. So that was great. Thank you for everybody that came onto the Steve Wallace Step 2 channel. Oh yeah, extra heat. That'll be great. Johnsonville. This is going to be good, particularly with mustard. Fresh baked buns you can split with your hands. And, fresh today they were indeed. Oh, yes. Oh, this is going to be good. Well, I've enjoyed my dinner, and I'm pretty much satisfied that it's a ghost town around here. So I want to take another peek outside and see with this dim light how much of it is visible from the street. Here we go. I really see nothing in the woods there. If I scan around this way, behind me I see a car that looks like a van that somebody could be actually stealth camping in. So I'm going to give them their privacy, get back into the woods here. Yes, it's confirmed. This is severely stealthy. From the road, you really can't see anything with this little light going. If anybody was actually driving around, which they're not.
I have to give a huge thumbs up to all the people that donated to the beer donation fund. I don't get the names of the people that bought the merch, but thank you guys as well. I'm glad you're getting something tangible and contributing to the channel. So everybody is so excellent. People that leave kind comments as well. That helps to outweigh the mean ones. I know I get overwhelmed sometimes when I get a couple or three bad ones, and I'm just like, okay, I just can't look at any more comments today. But you know that 99% of you guys are all awesome. So I'm gonna dig back into the comments, but I get thrown off my game a little bit sometimes. So you have to forgive me for that if you can. I'm breaking out Old Yeller here, and I'm getting into that Hennessy 4-season. It's got a built-in type of underquilt layer, which looks pretty good. I've used thermarests, etc., inside of these hammocks, and they just move around underneath you too much, so you can't really stay centered. So that's all right. Old Yeller here seems to be rated to minus 12 Celsius, I think it says somewhere on it. Yeah. Basically means it's rated till freezing. And stuff this in here. It is much nicer to have a hammock in these situations versus a tent. Now a tent, it's a bit of a mad scramble if there is an issue when you're stealth camping, because you have no idea what's happening outside. You can't really see that well, the windows or whatever. Out here I can easily lift up and see what's going on outside. It doesn't hold the heat in all that well, but you know, that's only an issue 3 seasons of the year. So I'd say hammock is good, but I'm tempted to test this out as a bivvy actually. This could perform very well just strung along the ground, even if you got a stick or something you could put up on either end, put a tarp over top of you. I think you could do quite well just sleeping on the ground. This thing on low, actually, turns out I wasn't using it properly. It goes way hotter than what I had it before, which makes sense for how long the first propane cylinder lasted. I'm gonna crawl into here. Okay, got myself hunkered down in the hammock, which is actually, so far, surprisingly warm on the bottom side, which is where hammocks usually tend to fail in colder temperatures. So we'll see how this fares in the morning, and cheers everybody. Thanks for watching so far. If you like me getting into all sorts of trouble and doing these types of things, please subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the morning. Cheers. Well, good morning. I was wrong about the wind. It is windy, but no trees came down. Cozy last night. Nice and warm. I'll say this hammock, the Hennessy 4-season, asymmetrical. Yeah, it gets its 3-season rating for sure. I'm not sure about 4 seasons because it warmed up quite a bit over the night. So it's around the freezing mark right now, I do believe. So 32 Fahrenheit, 0 Celsius. And yeah, that was awesome. I definitely return to the spot. Definitely use this hammock in these temperatures again. We'll experiment with this and see how cold this hammock can go. But I'm going to run down to the gas station this morning to use the washroom and grab a coffee. Let's go for a walk. All right. Survived pretty good. No matter how closely I look for any widowmakers or dead trees that could come down, I'm always scared I missed one. So when it gets really windy, I can't relax too much. I'd otherwise still be sleeping right now, I'm sure of it. Urban wildlife. Perfect way to start the day. A little gas station coffee. Sweet. Pack up old Yeller here. And yeah, if this was a serious stealth, I would have been long gone before the sun came up. But I was having such a good sleep, I really didn't want the party to end. It's the sleeping bag that takes up the most real estate, really. I normally have these things called snake skins that just slide over my whole hammocks, but I haven't got them set up on this one yet. Makes setup and tear down way quicker. No, this is an incredibly long setup. Just like I was never here. After I get this one. Just like I was never here. Okay, haven't left anything behind. Beautiful wife has arrived to pick me up and take me away from this winter wonderland. So again, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next week. Hey guys, welcome to Glamping with Steve. We're gonna get this insulated ice fishing tent set up. It's supposed to be a storm blowing in, and it sure seems like it. So hopefully we'll be able to survive the rain. We're gonna get this thing cut down ASAP. Good morning, snowfall morning. Yeah, beautiful light.
We flip the picnic table over, and we're going to tie the corners onto this. That should give us enough holding power for sure, versus little stakes in the ground, because this is frozen, kind of loose pine needle forest floor, and that's not going to hold anything, particularly like the wind blows. And over in the actual camping spot, that's hard packed frozen gravel, which is also not really good at holding anything in any serious way. So we get this tied on, and we'll get the lamping set up, ready to go. We got everything loaded into the tent. We've got it secured. Before we lose our sun power, I'm just going to go and take a look at the lake, because it is very picturesque out here. And it's an awesome spot. We should be here for a couple of days, so it's a bit of a longer adventure than usual. And I know I'm going to get people asking about the sound. If there is any wind noise, I do have a windsock, like a dead cat. It's the big fuzzy ball on the mic, but they got their limits, so that's all we can do for that. Oh, yeah. Don't worry, you don't have to tell me twice. I will not deposit any money, which is nice, because usually it'll be $21 or something, and I don't have exact change, and I end up putting in 30 or 25, muttering, "Keep the change, you filthy animals." So it's really nice for change to find a nice free spot. No firewood today, but it looks like they normally do have some firewood. But for free 99, I don't expect any firewood. All right, and beautiful wife is over there domesticating our little tent. All nice and cozy for tonight. This promises to be quite good. It's really been domestic up in here. So this is what I'm talking about on the microphone here. I got this little fuzzy goofball, a dead cat or a windscreen, windsock, and it does what it can, but you know, there's always going to be some clipping when there's a lot of wind. Anyhow, I've got my big buddy 18,000 BTU of warming power, so that will work for us tonight. So to the outside there's a 20-pound propane cylinder. There's the Jackery here, which I do bring on a lot of features. It's a 500 watt hour, and on that I got the trouble light with an LED bulb in it, so that's really good. Got a couple of these cots here with the Cabela's ones that are hard to put together, with foamy and some sleeping bags on top of it. A bunch of food, step twos, glorious things like that. Outside there is nature. And I'll just give a brief overview of this tent. I will touch a little bit more on it, but it's got the two entrances, triangle zipper things, so that the other one I had a curve in the zipper, and that just made it a real hassle to open and close. We got ventilation screens. There's two there on either side. Lots of windows in this thing, which is awesome. And the windows, this part actually comes out as well, so you can have a whole right to the outside.
when I put in a wood stove, I'll probably replace one of these panels with some sheet metal and do a little stove jack through the side that way. Then I can return it to normal use if I don't want the wood stove in it. So that's what we got in here. And we're going to be cooking on the fire tonight. I didn't bring my normal little camping stove thing because the fire's nice and we're going to have one anyways. Yeah, that's that. So moving right along, I'm getting a little bit thirsty, so I think we know what's going to happen next.
It is time to crack Alexander Keith's today. And of course, everybody at home, you can crack yours as well. Not everybody drinks beer, so it could be a pop, it could be step 3, whatever it is for you. Cheers, guys. The sun is setting on another day on this world, and we're going to have to shelter in place here pretty aggressively because that snow, I can feel it. It's coming within the next few hours. We've got the heater on. We're just in this tent right now trying to stay warm, and it's not proving too difficult because it's not actually that cold out, but that should probably change overnight. Seems that the wind has died down. We don't have our snow particles coming down yet, but I expect that to change quite shortly. Going to just do a simple meal tonight. We got a nicer one planned for tomorrow night, and we're just going to cook up some smoked sausages, some buns, maybe some sauerkraut, maybe some mustard. Who knows what the evening's going to bring. Get the fire started now rather than later when it's snowing and the wind's blowing. And hey, if you can start a barbecue, you can start a campfire. Just a little bit of this barbecue starter stuff in there. I'm gonna give it a healthy dose. Beats trying to do it again when it goes out. And stuff is like jellied, basically jellied kerosene by the looks of it. So it's fairly safe to, well, clearly it's not exploding like gasoline would. But there we go. And that should get the party started nicely. And yeah, conserve our wood as much as possible. And it's not bushcrafty, but it'll do. And that's not a slight on bushcraft. I'm very fond of a lot of bushcrafters. It's just not what I do. And I don't want to claim to be an expert or even remotely knowledgeable about bushcraft. Oh, okay, there we go. That's good. Things are clouding over really severely here. So I'm going to get the dinner on the grill. Smoked sausages. And really simple one tonight. Tomorrow is going to be a little more complex, but yeah, we have a storm coming, I think. I'm not sure 100%, but who knows what the weather predictions actually pan out to be. We'll cook these up and get right back into hunkering down in the old tent. These look about done. They're filled with cheese, so it's a little rude to cook. However, delicious. Enjoy these in the tent because there is little bears around these parts. Back into the tent, super cozy. Gonna get the smokies here, which are Canadian for smoked sausages. But yeah, just a sprinkle of mustard on here.
And then tomorrow we can actually relax, enjoy the trip without trying to take the whole tent down and everything in the morning. So that's awesome. It's gonna be a really cool trip out here. Yes. Here we go. Western Family mustard buck is a fantastic deal. There we go. There we go. Absolutely perfect. And the wind is still blowing, but not too violently. We're anchored down if there is an issue with that. But the stars are all gone. It's clouded over, which means there is snow coming. Between 10 and 20 centimeters tomorrow, which will be 3 to 6 inches of snow for us. So we'll see what happens. And in the meantime, just going to sit here watching Simpsons or something.
Good morning. It snowed a whole lot. The roof collapsed a couple of times in the night. Had to wake up and pop it back up, which is not unusual with these hub things if they get a load of snow on them. Sometimes I put a little stick. I have an extendable painter's pole that I just get there to hold it up. But I didn't bring it this time because we got a bed right here. So we're gonna see what this damage is like outside. See if we can actually make it out of this parking lot. Because yeah, it's stormy. It's gonna get stormier. If we can actually make it into town, we'll grab a little bit more supplies because if there's a little bit more snow, I don't know when they're gonna actually plow this road, but I think there's probably like that much snow over there. So let's take a look. It certainly was a fair bit of snow. As you can see, the car is under there somewhere. Our tent held up okay. The quantity of snow is formidable, and we're going to try to drive into town through this. Let's see, we do run the risk if there is any more snow of being stuck here. And I just stepped on a few things. Fire starter stuff from yesterday, and I have a GoPro out here somewhere too that was recording a time lapse. And where would that be? Use the GoPro. And where would it be? It'll be in here somewhere. Surprise. Definitely going to grab a little more stuff
to stay out here longer. This may turn into next week's video too. At least I can upload from here because there's really good cell service, but maybe stranded here for a little bit. Who knows? There is a private park operator that takes care of these parks, including the roads, and they'll eventually be around to shovel this place. But I don't think they're expecting anybody to actually be camping up here. We're about to fully explore the limitations of the all-wheel drive system on a Hyundai Santa Fe. It is really, really deep. There. Now, I should be using the GoPro to film this, except I'm using the big main camera, because the GoPro, I dug it out of the snow, I brought it into the car, and I plugged it in, and it made the worst beep I've ever heard it make. And then smoke started coming out of it. So I don't think it's going to film anything else after what I put it through last night. So here goes nothing. I have no idea if we're going to get stuck or not. But if we make it into town before there's any more snow, because this may be quite a while before they clear all this out, we're going to have enough stuff that we did last year, a week or two. Like we're going to load up because they will eventually plow this. But when? That's the question. Okay, here we go. Not so bad at all. That is a great thing because I was really expecting a little more trouble. We haven't made it to town yet, but it's doable. We can do this over here. So, grab a few more things for an extended stay we didn't plan on. I heard there's snow warning, but I didn't think it would be anything like this. Like, now, it was a big load of snow, and I didn't realize it until I backed up to take a nice picture of these boughs. Our car is literally like we're dragging the skid plate through the snow here. So it's working a lot easier than I thought it would. But yeah, when we're like leveling off, like, yeah, if anybody's wondering what I have for tires, they're new tires, so that's probably what it is. And you can see what they are, but I'll let you guys know in the description of what kind of tires I'm using. This is actually impressive. So there's an accident back there. Looks like a couple of semis had a crash, and we are going to be backed up for quite a while trying to get back up to the campsite. So be well prepared, load up on food, and be ready to hunker down in this lane on the way back. Now, it's somehow more intimidating coming back into the campsite. On the way out, we couldn't see how seriously we were breaking trail, but on the way back in, it becomes absolutely apparent that we were probably pushing the limits of what this is capable of doing. we did have a little bit of an issue with snow from the top melting and dripping down. Now they're pretty water resistant, but you know they're designed for snow, so you would want to be out in the rain with these things. One of the nice things on this model is it has these little pouches here that you can put the straps into for tying it down. So it's one less thing to lose, one less thing to look for when you're trying to tear it up and tear down and set them up. This was the part where we were experiencing the most melt through into the inside. So as long as it doesn't snow tonight, it should be warm and cozy. Actually, I will bring up, we had the Mr. Buddy heater on the low last night. It was perfectly calm. Not that cold out. This is only -2 Celsius or something, so it's like 30, 28 Fahrenheit in there somewhere. So it's really not that cold, but that extra insulation in here allowed us to just use it on the low last night. So it's just perfect. Just exactly what we like to do is conserve propane when we don't know if we're going to get snowed in or not. Well, we could have some snowdrift problems in the morning. Our old friend the wind is back, and we're thankfully tied down pretty good. Doesn't seem to be any more snow, but we're gonna seek shelter for a little bit here, and then we're gonna cook some dinner and have a good old-fashioned hunkering down in the tent tonight. Probably like watch a Simpsons marathon of a lifetime.
You could have just asked.
Quaker Chewy Bars. Feed the imagination.
Huggies Double Grip Sticks versus Baby Gear. Will it stay put? A toy piano? Yep. A rocking horse? Yep. An entire box of Huggies? Oh yeah. Only Huggies have double grip strips up to 100% leak-proof fit.
Want to take the next step with Entivio? Then it's time to talk to your healthcare provider. With Entivio, you may be able to pay as little as $5 per dose. Plus, our team can help connect you with additional support programs. Entivio.
We did see, of course, some strange tracks that looked cougarish to me when we first came out here. And I haven't seen any in the fresh snow. They look quite old, so I'm not too concerned. And it's also, it's a cougar. They try to avoid adult human beings as much as possible. Now, if I was out camping, walking around with some kids and family, I'd be a little worried if they got far away from me. But it's not a concern today. Yeah. Another good old fire. Be cooking some foil pouches tonight. And beautiful wife is going through and prepping up a bunch of ingredients so that we can put foil pouches together, put them up on fire, and hopefully the drifts aren't too bad. The snow drifts. We had to move the car up a little bit because it was starting to drift already. We didn't want to get stuck in the campsite here. Up to it. Dinner time, dinner time, dinner time. I've been enamored with these foil pouch things. I've managed to find these smoked Gouda and what's that, Belgian beer. Yum. So we got that with some canned sliced potatoes here, a little butter, green peppers, mushrooms, and onions, and salt, pepper, a little garlic squeeze bottle. That's all going into this pouch, and we're going to stick it out there for 25 minutes or so. I think deliciousness should ensue. There's some triple cheddar. Never enough pepper in this world. And cheddar, cheddar, cheddar. What could be better? Well, looks to me like a modest foil pouch. Of course, during bear season, this is nothing we'd even attempt to prepare inside the tent. However, we got the luxury right now of just having to deal with cougars. There you go. Aluminum is nice and recyclable, so great thing to have with us. the snow just melts all around this fire pit. It is not cold at all, so I'm not going to be out here trying to say I'm surviving at minus 30 because it's right around freezing. It is snowy and windy out. And on goes the foil pouch. And this thing should take about 20 to 25 minutes, and you will be enjoying a nice foil pouch. I made one for your wife already, and it turned out, in her opinion, fantastic. We like different ingredients in ours. So this is red pepper in here. She prefers red peppers, orange peppers, bell peppers. Not the green though. I'm not all about the green peppers. So let this marinate for 20 minutes or so. I'll call it Crazy Neighbor, and we'll be hunkering down in no time. Oh yes. Here we are, foil pouch. That is the new method of cooking, in my opinion. Wow. The veggies are done perfectly usually. Oh, just steamed right in there. Oh yeah. Holy macaroni. This is going to be good. It smells fantastic. I have to give a humongous shout out to all the folks that have donated to the Beer Donation Fund. You're all class acts, and some of you are incredibly generous. I really can't say enough about that, but we'll leave it at that. And thank you all so much. You're all great. Thank you so much. And we're gonna hopefully get out of here in the morning. We'll see how that goes. But we got good cell service. We got enough food, propane, so that if we are snowed in or anything like that, we can survive. And we will see you guys in the morning. Cheers.
Good morning. What a beautiful morning this is. Sun is shining. The snow drifts didn't get too bad, so we should be able to drive right out of here. It seems fairly warm, but yeah, today is the day, the time to pack up and head back to reality. We didn't have any issues with wildlife. Our cougar pal didn't come around, but I did have bear spray just in case. The only wildlife I've actually seen here is a generous quantity of spiders, because it hasn't been cold enough to kill them off yet this year or anything. So they're coming out of the ground here. So it's one of the downsides of not having a floor on your tent. And if you don't like spiders, that makes life really bad. So we're gonna pack up and get back to normal life, because as much as I'd love to just live here forever, we're starting to get stinky after a couple of days. So it is high time to get home and clean ourselves up.
This area here is where I was worried about those drifts, and some of it's packed down pretty hard. Other parts are pretty loose, but it worked out pretty good. We'll be able to get out of here no problem. Awesome little pockets here for these tie downs. The less things to lose, the better. Like permanently attached things. Thoroughly enjoyable trip. Thoroughly enjoyable. This is one thing I will point out. When the snow starts to melt around the base of these tents, if it's set up for a while, it can be a real tricky thing to get them out. is so much snow stuck onto this. People do suggest to pile snow around the outside to trap in extra heat and for extra insulation, but it's a real nightmare to take it down. And it's just after a couple of nights. So there's no way I'm putting this back into the bag when it's soaking wet and covered in snow. I'm gonna have to fire this into the back of the car and set it up at home in the sun and out of the snow to try and not put it away wet. Heavy. Thanks for watching, everybody. We're going to be doing something stealthier next week. Because it's been a while and I've got a hankering to do some bunkering, some fresh meat. And we're going to get out of here. Thanks for following along. Please subscribe if you like this type of stuff. And we'll see you on the next adventure. Cheers, everyone.
Is that Philly cheesesteak? Yeah, boy! Hot pockets.
Get 12 months of your whitest smile with just one kit. Try Crest.
Well, hey, friends. I'm here with the SUV with a foamy in the back in a parking lot of a Canadian Tire, which also has a auto repair shop. And I think we can all figure out what's going to happen there. So I'm going to get out of this parking lot until it gets a little bit darker, a little bit less busy, and the store closes. Because sitting here all evening is going to draw a lot of suspicion. Okay, there's a bunch of these signs all over the parking lot. So we're going to have to be a little sneaky, a little crafty, and very stealthy. That's not a problem for me. I have some experience in this department. And we just go find a place to sit and wait for it to get a little bit darker and the parking lot to empty out. Well, this takes me back. I forgot just how much time is spent sitting around waiting when you're doing stealth car camping in a parking lot. It's quite a bit, but it gives you time to listen to the radio, read a book. Usually during normal times, I would be at a pub or something having a pint and a good meal. And then after they close, the other stores would probably be closed. I can pull in my parking spot for the night and then leave in the morning if anybody shows up for work. The good thing with this parking lot that I'll be doing tonight is there is a repair shop right there. This definitely looks like it needs a lot of work, so it does not look out of place parked beside the other cars that are in for repair. Provided I get out of there before the people come in the morning to start working on the vehicles, I think it's going to be smooth sailing. And if they do come by and they start bringing vehicles into their shop and they see me laying in the back of this thing sleeping, that is as busted as it gets. So, just going to kill a little more time here and drive around a bit, grab something to eat from a drive-thru or something, and then we're going to get cozied up in the back here. I got a bunch of sleeping bags, some water, foamy, a bunch of good stuff. And it should be a quite simple, normal, regular, overnight stealther in a car. Now, as I was driving around to kill some time, I stopped by one of these visitor center spots. They look like a good spot to stop for the night, but they're not. The only one time I've ever had that knock on the window has been at one of these places sleeping in a car. Aside from that, I've parked in some very risky spots and had good luck. But with the visitor center, yeah, if there's a car parked there in the middle of the night, you're obviously not looking for maps of the area. You're there sleeping for the night. So expect a knock if you try that. Well, the parking lots are still really full. It looks like about an hour until they clear out. And then there's fewer people around. So I'm going to take this opportunity to go grab some grub, and we'll chow down on that, and then find our way into our cozy little parking stall for the night. While I'm waiting for some delicious piping hot comfort food, I did notice a boondocker out there. So that is a rig if I've ever seen one. Looks pretty frosted up on the windows inside, but I thought I would take a look around the parking lots and see who else might be camped out for the night, judging on my experience of what they kind of look like sometimes.
just picked up the food. We got a chicken and mushroom fettuccine. That'll be delicious. I think there's some green onions in here. Something else as well, I think. Nice warm comfort food. Because in the summer, you can do a sandwich in the car, that's okay. In the winter, you just want something warm in the belly. And cooking in the car is never that good of an option. You get steam on the windows. It's obvious that you're cooking in it, especially if you're at the point of stealth where you're going to be for the night. So this is just an easy option. I can chow down on this away from where I'm going to camp for the night. I drove past and it's looking pretty sparse in that parking lot. I think there's one vehicle there overnight, right by the mechanic shop. So as long as I'm out of there really early in the morning, I think things will be okay. Shouldn't be too big of an issue because it will be cold and I'll probably be waking up a bit here and there in the night. But I'm going to munch down on this a bit and we'll go take another look at that parking lot. So we're here at what's going to be home for the night. And there's the one lonely vehicle out there. The rest of the lot, completely empty. And that is not good for stealth, but it just means it's going to have to be a super early morning. I'm going to go kill a little more time. Going to get a step 2, which clearly can't be a beer when you're sleeping in a car. So I'm probably going to get a hot chocolate or something, I think. Oh, hi. Could I get a large hot chocolate, please?
Okay, and anything else?
No, that's all.
Okay. 408 at the second window, please.
Thank you.
Help keep your kids going with kids nutritional shakes. Real organic nutrition with vitamins, minerals, and a fruit and veggie blend. Plus, 25% less sugar and a taste kids love. Fuel your kids' next adventure with Orgain.
Hands would rather not get messy. They feed, they bathe, they play catch. That's why we made a baby wipe big enough to help protect them.
Chocolatey. Back in the staging parking lot right now. And I will wander over after all these businesses close, but there's still stores open here. So I can kind of hang around and it looks like I belong here. There's a liquor store open just teasing me, but that's okay. This does remind me of the boondocking days, I'll tell you that. I did work, but I worked half-time or part-time, that type of thing. So it left me a lot of time to sit around in the RV, catch up on Breaking Bad, all that type of stuff. And when I wasn't out exploring, if the weather was too crummy, you had to kind of sit around playing cards or solitaire or whatever, listen to the radio, reading a book. And there was an unspoken code of conduct, like a professional courtesy among everybody living in an RV or a van or even a car, is that you don't all congregate in one parking lot and get to know each other and hang out together in the parking lot, because there's nothing that would get that whole thing shut down quicker than, a bunch of guys living out of their cars all, playing dice in the parking lot or something. So we'd give each other our space, our own territories. And if somebody did pull up that wasn't really familiar with what was going on, you normally just roll your eyes and pull out of there because, one looks not too bad, but a group of 5 looks like the carnies are taking over the parking lot. So we didn't want any of that type of problem. And just a little more time, I'm probably going to go over there in a couple of hours. And I really want this to be a short and sweet night of just pull in at like midnight, get out of there at 6:30 in the morning or something. I'm going to take another look at their hours. I know people, normally the opening staff will show up an hour before or whatever. So I got that type of a time frame to look at. And of course, where I'm parking seems to be where the staff park when they pull up in the morning. But my breakdown story that I have already fabricated is that my battery is iffy and on the way out, which it actually is. And I don't want to chance it. I want to be parked right beside the store when it opens so I can get a battery and continue on my journey. And that should satisfy them. And if a store manager happens to knock on the window in the morning, I'll say, oh, thank goodness, I need a battery. And I'll just get a battery. So, problem solved. That should be a very reasonable excuse to be sleeping in that lot overnight at the auto repair shop. Well, this is a treat. The lights have gone off. It's fairly late, and it is time to have a stealthy slumber. Ooh, this is good. I'm going to park not too close to that propane filling station, but in the neighborhood. This is good. Should do just fine. I think most of the staff, when they show up, if they're the first ones here, they're going to park close to the door. So right in here looks like my spot. Perfect. The car thermometer is showing minus 10 Celsius, so that's not too bad. Now the art crawling into the back, getting ready to sleep. It certainly doesn't feel very stealthy. In fact, it's not. Aside from the parking lot being empty and no lights, these are just mildly tinted windows. So if someone were to drive by and I have my head slightly up, they would see in no problem. But we're going to rely on the fact that I haven't seen much traffic and it's very dark. And as soon as the lights go on in the morning, I am out of here. Like if these big light poles turn on, I'm not sticking around to sleep in. So I have to give a big shout out to all the people who've made beer donations. Much appreciated. There's a lot of people that have sent kind words and everything, and I'm going to get through emails here. We've had production issues, of course, because sometimes with a one-man show doing a weekly turnaround unscripted reality vlog, we run into problems. So we had one stealth spot that I showed up at, and it turned into a disaster. It's a really good concept, but I need to do it a little bit more well-planned. So that will be in the future. And thanks, guys, for watching. We're going to the old nighttime camera rolling, and we'll see you in the morning. It won't be too long to sleep, I don't think, tonight. But I'm just going to cover up and try to be as quiet and stealthy as possible. All right. The lights, the main lights are turned on here. That's my cue to get out of here. That was a short and sweet sleep, but don't need to wear out my welcome. So I'll crawl in the back here and gonna make some tracks, find some breakfast or something like that. And successfully made it through the night. No one is the wiser. Oh yeah. Still minus 10. Perfectly reasonable temperature. Yeah. People just starting to get mobile and moving around for the day. And yours truly is no exception. All right. Minus 9 on the sign at about 6:30. So that's absolutely perfect. Canadian Tire was going to open up at 8 o'clock. So we were probably half an hour away from somebody working there showing up. Perfect timing. Didn't even have an alarm set. I just kind of woke up automatically and looked around and said, all the lights are on. Time to hit the bricks. So, yeah, I'm going to try and grab some grub here from the Friesen brothers. I used to actually work for them years ago in one of my numerous jobs, which there have been plenty. I ran the night crew at a grocery store for years. So I know they do have pretty good food there. So we'll check that out. Well, I waited around for a little bit here, and it doesn't seem like they still have those hot breakfast offerings I remember so fondly, which is possibly not a bad thing because I did eat 2 pounds of fettuccine alfredo last night. So plan B, I guess, will be to just grab a coffee and head on home back to beautiful wife. And it was a pretty simple, basic textbook overnight car camp. I didn't do anything fancy to cover up the windows, and pulled in really late, pulled out really early. That's exactly the way to do it. Don't cook in the car in the parking lot. Don't eat in the car in the parking lot. Just pull in there to sleep and pull out in the morning. And it was a good thing I did. I just drove past a second ago, and it's tons of cars there. So if I were my normal self waking up at 9:30, I'd be busted. I think somebody showed up about 15 minutes after I left because I did another loop back, and somebody was already there and parked like right beside where I was camped. So that would have been interesting. Anyhow, if you like these weird things, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching this far. And I can't really travel too far right now because of various reasons we won't get into. But around Alberta, I can get around to do kind of camping things. Um, if if you are living in an Alberta town and want to see me try stealth camping in your town, let me know. Vote for your town, and I'll see if I can get out to do a little stealther in your town. If you know of a good spot, even better. And I'll expand that as soon as restrictions lift or whatever into other provinces. Maybe North America. Let me know. You want to see me stealthing somewhere? Vote for your town. I'll look through them, and I'll check them out on Google Earth and Google Maps and Street View. I'll see what might work, and maybe I'll just wing it. Who knows? So let me know what you think. And cheers, guys. We'll see you later on.
Gatorade Zero has the #1 proven electrolyte blend with zero sugar. Is it in you? One wipe cleans up to 50 feet.
Welcome to Camping with Steve. As you can see, it's the perfect day to go camping. And today I'm going to set up a tent inside of a larger tent and try to heat it with candles. So that's all about today. There's still probably a couple inches of snow. It's older, hard, more compact snow. I skimmed off the layer on the top because that's all I can do, really. I'm not Chuck Norris. I'm not going to get this down to the gravel. So when I set up the tent on top of this, we'll just have to keep the boots on, I guess, in there. That'll be all right. Brought some firewood from the firewood pile. So close. Oh yeah, feels warmer in there already. Well, inside of here, I got a small 2-person dome tent I'm going to try to set up for an extra layer of insulation. And we'll see what that does in here. A nice still wind, so this thing shouldn't blow off on us. We'll see. I've never set this thing up before, and I'm really hoping it goes together inside of this. Otherwise, I'll have to pull the big tent off and put it back over top. And what I see, this is what a 2-person tent is supposedly should do. This is where we could get into issues. Right. It's actually somehow long enough to assemble 10 poles inside of this for another tent. That's all right. Oh. It's definitely light. Interesting feature with this tent. I'll get into the details later, but look at how the poles go together. Metal perks on the inside so it doesn't snag when you slide it through. Brilliant. It only took us until 20 to 21 to figure this out. Perfect. Double door on this thing. Doors. Oh. The fly is heavier than the tent. Good quality. I'm not stressing too much about putting the other hole in the fly here because it's just another layer of insulation, really. It's a cool tent. I had to pick it up because I don't really have one that was small enough to put inside this one. So I had to go grab this little guy. Canadian Tire, of course. They didn't give it to me for free. But it is, looks like really decent tent so far. It'd be perfect for like a canoe or kayak trip or something. It's a little heavy for backpacking, but if you had a few people with you all sharing the gear, it could be quite possible. So, haul a little more stuff in here, and then this will be the outer shell of an insulated tent, the inner shell of another tent. And I'm going to put some candles in here in the main tent. I'm not going to put them in this little fire trap here because that's just asking for it. You can get little holders that will hold them like lanterns or put them in clay pots to prevent them tipping over. And I think the safest and smartest thing to do is just to put them right in the snow because that's not going to catch on fire. parts are done and not a moment too soon because we're losing our sunlight power. And that should certainly qualify me for a little bit of vitamin beer here. Step 2 to help replenish my electrolytes out here. And we do have a remote control temperature sensor thermometer. So I'm going to have one taking the inside temperature and the outside temperature. We'll put that far away from the fire and vehicles so we get an accurate outside reading. We're going to see what we can do with just tea lights. I have a carbon monoxide alarm, because if you see a yellow flame, it is giving off carbon monoxide. Maybe not that much for each candle, but it's still putting it out there. And we're looking at like 70 to 80 BTUs per candle flame. So in order to actually do the equivalent of a buddy heater, you'd need like hundreds of them in there. So a buddy heater is about 18,000 BTU. So the math there, the whole thing would burn down to the ground in about a second. Yeah, I'm gonna ration my candles because they last for about 4 hours each under laboratory conditions, which we don't have here. And I'm really relying on just the sleeping bag to get me through the night. And should be down to minus 20 Celsius. Hopefully a lot warmer than that in the tents. In here in the tent and the tent inside the tent, first things first, my carbon monoxide alarm. These little guys will save your bacon if there's a silent, the deadly gas in the area. And here's my thermometer. Now, the top number there is the outdoor temperature, minus 16 Celsius. The bottom one says 0. And the bottom one's what's happening inside this.
With Swiffer Duster, you get a clean, even mama cruiser.
Beverly?
Swiffer, love it for your money back.
Welcome to Huntington, a bank that believes we should all get more for money. Like a path to turn late nights into beach days. And a nudge when you've got enough for the go. Go for it, Daryl. Let's get more for money. Huntington Bank.
Why feed your cat food that's not so wow when all they want to do is chow chow chow? With real farm-raised chicken, Purina Cat Chow makes cats go chow chow chow. Taste like no other. That's how Purina Cat Chow. Chow chow chow.
This tent. It's designed for in a house, so I think it stops at 0 because there's no heat going here, and this is clearly not 0 degrees in here. So I don't think it actually starts registering until it gets to 0 degrees. So, tea light time. Now I'm going to start with just a few of them in here to see if we can get some decent temperature rise in this thing versus what's happening outside. I think I'll start with 5. That sounds reasonable because I know there's 70 to 80 BTU per candle. I'll get 5 of these on here. It's a very modest heat source, but it is a triple wall insulated ice fishing hut, so that's okay. I did have ambitious plans to try and cook on these things tonight too. However, they don't give off a lot of heat. You're going to have to be using basically pre-cooked stuff that you're kind of warming up in a pot. But it can be done. It wouldn't be boiling water to make noodles or anything. 3. And I'm going to end up putting as many of these as necessary in here in order to get this to at least register on the indoor portion of the thermometer. 0 degrees Celsius. I don't want my body heat to affect the thermometer. So, where should I put this? Oh, right atop the tent. That's a reasonable location. Perfect. Inside the tent. And there are ventilation holes. There's one right up there that's open.
so there should be some air flowing through. However, let these things burn for a while, and we'll see what it does for the temperature. Yeah, it's still registering 0 degrees Celsius in here. Feels like it, that's for sure. I think it'll take more than 5 candles to work this miracle. So I'm gonna light up a whole bunch more. We'll go for, I don't know, 15 candles total, and we'll see what that can do here. It's still very sleepable. I can easily sleep in here with the sleeping bag I've got. I'm not concerned about me being warm. It's not a problem at all. I just want to see if I can get the bottom red line on this thermometer to show something other than 0 degrees, 32 Fahrenheit. This one doesn't even have a wick. Oh my. One casualty, but I'll eat the rest of these. We'll see what that will do for our interior temperature. I know with enough of these, this thing would be downright tropical. I think they're going to go. The reason I'm not using a pan or anything to put these on is I figured the snow would be good enough, but they do melt into the snow. And I've never tried this before, so this is all trial and error. We'll see what happens here, and if this will start to register a temperature inside here above freezing. Nice and warm up here. I was staying warm by the fire for quite a while, and these candles have actually burned through the snow here. So they need something to stop from doing this. Oh boy, this one's way down there. So I'm going to put them on these plates to stop them from melting through the snow. Paper plates, I know. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? But if I get a bunch in here, it should warm me up quite nicely. And then we will get back out to the fire and continue cooking dinner. Yeah. sausage. Johnson, to be specific. Round up the sausage. Throw in a little water. Because we're gonna try and actually cook some gnocchi. Mini gnocchi. Mini frozen gnocchi. That'll work okay, I think. Vitamin fire will help that. It's boiling down, so clearly broccoli has to be the healthy denominator in this equation. And looks like a bit there, for sure. Or I'll cook into smaller pieces. Yeah. Alfredo in here. And this is just a nice, simple, complicated camping meal. Nothing wrong with that. I'm going to reduce. And, we got some gnocchi, sausage, broccoli, over the counter, classico type of meal here. So, yum. Oh, yes. Is this ever good? A little taste. Try not to burn my home skillet. I think it's quite a good meal here. Maybe more veggies. I don't see where the broccoli even. Oh, there's one. Healthy. Delicious meal. Tent inside a tent. I don't know where I stand on these tea lights because they didn't raise the temperature in here measurably. But we're at minus 22 degrees Celsius right now. And I can put that into view. Minus 22. And in Fahrenheit, oh boy, equals -7 Fahrenheit. So it's a little chilly, but there's no wind going on. Tent inside of the tent, I'm sure I'll be just fine. Inflate the old air mattress here. And this I'll put inside of the sleeping bag. So I should be quite cozy tonight. I'm not really expecting any problems. But
lens fogs up too much more, we are nicely sequestered in the tent within a tent. So before I tuck in for the night, I will give a huge shout out to all the people that have donated to the beer donation fund. You guys are making these crazy adventures possible. This tent I picked up today, I would not have if it wasn't for you guys. So tent inside of a tent, I think we'll do a little more comparisons here and see how it versus just a tent on its own or a sleeping bag on its own or that type of thing. So we'll see you guys in the morning. Thank you all so much. And sorry the lens is fogging up here all the time. Yeah. The joys of minus 22 Celsius or minus 7 Fahrenheit. And I'm scared to even know what that'll be in the morning. Good morning. It wasn't the warmest sleep, but it also wasn't the coldest. I've been colder than that before. Our morning temperature outside is saying 2 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 17 Celsius. Holy moly, looks like everything kind of got reset on here. But our minimum temperature was minus 24 Celsius out there at some point in the night last night. In Fahrenheit, that's minus 11. So, yay! Anyhow. Yeah, feels a lot colder outside than in, and there's no really heat source in here other than me. And I give off maybe 300 or 400 BT, and probably closer to 200 if I'm sleeping. So it has managed to capture a lot of that heat. I'll open a couple more windows, make this place a little brighter. So, candles, no. I'm not going to mess around with candles again. For the amount of hassle, it's just not really worth it in my opinion. It's a neat idea, but there's only so many BTU a candle can put out. And that BTU is like 80 BTUs, which is not a lot. And regardless of how you assemble it or put clay pots on it, it's not going to increase the heat of that candle. In a car for a survival situation, that may make the difference between life and death, though, because that little bit of extra heat in a closed-in vehicle could definitely raise the temperature a few degrees. Anyhow, the candles, a no-go. The tent inside of the tent, a cool concept as well. Again, if there was another heat source inside of the tent, it probably would have made a bigger difference. But unfortunately, I don't have a 3-zone thermometer for measuring all 3 different zones. Maybe I'll mess around with that one day and see what we can come up with. But Mr. Buddy Heater, that propane thing, that's probably a way better option than any of these other weird ways to try and heat the tents. So that's where I stand on that whole situation. Anyway, I'm gonna start getting this stuff torn down. This little tent here, I'm pleased with. We'll take this out in the summer or in the spring when it's a little more suited to that type of temperatures. But yeah, that's going to be a great companion on the bicycle or on the rivers, that type of thing. Anywhere I don't have to be stealthy because of its recognizable color. Oh, it deflated. That explains what was happening with the discomforting cold.
moment of truth is always, will it fit in the bag? I have good hopes because this is a pretty generous sized tent bag. Let's see what happens. Never in my life have I seen a tent do that. And that was under really cramped packing circumstances in here. We didn't exactly have time to put it out on a nice summer day and fold it up perfectly. So, bam, done. Ooh. If you can handle these videos, please don't be ashamed to subscribe. I'll keep it low key. Don't tell anybody. Yeah, we're back usually every Thursday. We try our best. Sometimes things don't go 100% to plan, but for the most part, that's where you can find me. Right here on this channel, every Thursday. So this channel is definitely not an instructional channel. It's not an informative channel. It's not a how-to channel. I don't know if any of these shelters or meals or anything are actually going to work out in real life. So we're just kind of a trial and error channel. Trial and error channel. And if we do find out something along the way, then I guess maybe we did learn something. For educational resources, however, there are far better serious outdoors YouTube channels than this. Fair warning. As somebody that sets up and tears down a tent 60 or 70 times a year, these easy up and down hub tents are awesome. Thanks for stopping by, everybody, and we'll see you later. Cheers. Welcome to camping with Steve and Crazy Neighbor today. We came back out to what we'd set up last week. We were experiencing some